Okay, it's 10:10 now. Let's begin. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us for today's Chai and Chat. I am Jonathan, your host, and joining me today is Hoi. I will refer to her
Hi.
as Chi in this call. She's one half of Pop and Chi. I'm not sure. So I think Pop is in the
Yes.
farm at the moment. So today it will just be
Yeah.
Chi joining us on the call. So before we begin, let me just very briefly introduce to you what Chai and Chat is, right? So Chai and Chat is something that we have every month. It's basically just a series of conversation that we have with friends, people that we know who are doing good work in Penang, even in KL. Over the course of the past few months, we've had conversations with architects who built with bamboo. We've had conversation with urban gardeners in KL who are also doing a lot of good advocacy work. We've also spoken to a hiker in Penang who's well known for his work mapping all the hiking trails, and he's also an author. So we have had some very interesting conversations, and it's very short and sweet. It's just a 30-minute chat.
Mm.
We have a few questions that we put forward to our guests, and the whole idea is just to hear their story and to hopefully leave with a message and to be inspired. Yeah. So this Chai and Chat is part of our Spice Fam calendar of events. It's a garden community, a garden membership program that revolves around community, wellness, nature education, and culture. So it runs on a subscription model. So our Spice Fund members, they pay as low as 25 ringgit every month. And for that, they get to enjoy monthly activities and workshops. They get to enjoy unlimited garden entry. So basically, you can come as many times as you want. We also give them camping passes because we have camping sites in the gardens as well. And also, we have a garden store, and members are entitled to some extra spicy discounts every month. Yeah. So,
Mm.
without further ado, I'm going to introduce our very special guest today, Chi, who is part of Pop and Chi. And so, both of them, they live in the farm and they live in peace and harmony with nature and their kids. And by kids, we're talking about dogs, cats, chickens, ducks, and geese. Yeah. Um, just a moment. I'm just going to disable the waiting room so people can just come in as
Yeah.
they wish.
Mm.
Just a moment. Okay. Sorry for the interruption. Going back to where I was. So Pop and Chi, they live very closely to nature with their kids, their dogs, their cats, chickens, ducks, geese, and they started their journey actually in Thailand in the forest, and they have since traveled and grew into advocates for urban farming. You might have seen them in Hin Bus. They're there every Sunday, right, Chi?
Uh, Alternative Sunday, and the first and the second will be at Grow Market, like the first
Okay.
Saturday Grow Market and second Sunday Grow Market
Okay.
Auto City. Yeah.
Okay, okay, got it.
And third
Okay,
and fourth at Hin. Yeah.
right, great. So yeah, I'm sure some of you all have seen them. They also brew some really good coffee. And so yeah, they started out their journey in the forest of Thailand, and then they've traveled, and now they've made Penang their home. Yeah, and they are advocates for urban farming and something that they call food forest in the city. Yeah, and that we see is a growing trend, right? Especially in view of the pandemic, people are slowly and beginning to realize the importance of nature, the importance of health, the importance of being self-sustainable. So they plant
Mm.
everything that they love to eat, from normal vegetables to plants with medicinal uses as well. And they also save and share seeds with the community. So in
Mm.
today's Chai and Chat session, we are absolutely happy and delighted to have to hear their story, of this mindful journey and their relationship, their close relationship with nature. And we also learn a bit about the importance and benefits of growing your own food, and how even you can get started at home. Yeah. So Chi, thank you so much for joining us. Let's just jump straight into the question. Yeah. Last year during the pandemic, I think everyone realized the value of nature, of having a green space. But you have been doing this for a long time. Can you tell us how you got started with urban farming?
I think, yeah, I don't realize that it has been a long time actually. Like still new. And what happened is I don't really want to start anything in the city basically because I live in a forest and I decided to live in the forest for like maybe the rest of my life. And but then something happened. It's like in my hometown, of course my parents is here in Penang and my friends family is in Penang, and one of my friends decided to like ask me for some help, so to build a mud studio. So we have been working closely together with our core teacher P Jo Chandai. If some people are familiar with, that is our main teacher. Jo Chandai is a pioneer seed bank in Thailand, and he's quite famous. You can listen to his TED talk too. So and we are good at we have some experience at building mud houses, mud studio, mud. So that, and our friend invite us to build a mud studio in Penang. So I'm like, okay, that's good. Then that's why we come back to Penang. And I thought that maybe we finish the project maybe 3 months time, 2 months time, then I came back to the forest. So most of my items are still in the forest, but okay. So and since then we don't really travel back to the forest that we used to live. Okay, the pandemic happened and things happened, and our parents want us to stay. So I remember after been 5 years in Thailand, back and forth, and then a while in living in the jungle. So and I just sort of like come back to the city. I feel like wow, we how many things that we are actually lost in terms of not item, wisdom, skills, surviving skills, and a lot of things like our soil, especially soil. That is the one main thing that amazed me and Pop. I never know how is the soil in Penang until I come back, from Thailand. And how do we get started is like we don't really start, but it's because we stay in our parents' home and they have a small piece of land in the residential area, like everywhere in Penang. So we have small piece of land, and Pop is from Thailand, so he don't really know that our soil is so different from Thailand soil. So he just thought that maybe we just chanko, we put a seed and they will grow. So yeah, so Pop and I like two of us like so silly, go start to do some planting for our family, basically for our own consumption. So and Pop say, what happened to your soil? I don't know. He said, all sand, stone, pipe, t-shirt, plastic, container in the soil. So it's like, what happened to your soil? I said maybe the industry when they build, they just dump everything and cover up. And as my parents, they put all interlocking on the floor. So we have to remove all interlocking so that we have some soil to plant some food. So it's such a silly thing when I think back, like, yeah, why do we put on all those tiles, and also this interlocking? Yeah. So that is how I actually started and realized that it's everywhere in Penang like this. It's not only my home, everywhere. So then this is how I started to regenerate the soil and do. It's a shock for Pop because when he asked me like, do you know where to get topsoil? And I look around in the nursery in all Malaysia. Basically, Pop say you don't have topsoil in Malaysia. I'm like, what do you mean we don't have topsoil in Malaysia? He said, this is not topsoil at all. So we argue a lot during that period of time. So it's true that we don't have topsoil anymore in Malaysia. Okay, to be honest. And then he looked for compost at the beginning. He said, okay, fine. If you don't have topsoil, let's look for compost. So we look around again, nursery, I Google, I don't know where to get compost, and what is compost? So Pop said, this is not compost, this is all burnt ash. So do you guys know what is going? I'm like, okay, maybe Thailand is totally different from Malaysia. This is what I realized after that, you know. So I think this is like just a short introduction. How do I get started? Accidentally. Yeah, until today is still like accidentally.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's not like really that we want to plant and commercially supply. No, nothing like that.
But
Yeah.
you answered the call of nature, lah, and that's why you're doing what you're doing now.
Yeah, I'm actually quite shocked to me when I come back to Penang. Like, is it that bad? You know, I don't really know that bad, you know. Like
Yeah.
until when I started, then I realized, wow, no soil, no topsoil. Nobody know what is topsoil. Nobody know what is real compost. This is very sad, you know. Even I asked around that, they say this is topsoil. I say, Pop say no, this is not topsoil. And I look around, and this is really not topsoil. And compost, the same thing. There's no like a real quality compost too
Yeah.
on the market for sale, you know. Okay,
And
I
I guess
think
this is where your work
yeah.
is so important, because what I think the message that you and Pop and Chi are trying to, I mean, you and Pop are trying to convey is, you know, you can do this by yourself. You can do this in your back.
Yes,
You don't have to go
yes,
to the shop. You just have to learn how to do it, and you know,
yes.
and that's why your work is so important. Can you tell me a bit about what you have learned so far, you know, from being on this journey? What are the biggest lessons for you so far?
I think yeah, I just remember like when I was in like in Thailand. Okay, so because how do I started is not from a real like so-called guru of, you know, they have big farm, you know, and they have like what certificate of what courses, you know. It's not that. It's about lifestyle, you know. Like I learned from an auntie, like in the jungle. When I was in the jungle, I remember the moment that I have this aha, like the world suddenly just open up. Is the moment when I don't have any food in the forest. I cannot recognize all the any plants at all. I like, where can I find food? As like a city people, they will think like, I got money, I go to shopping mall, I buy some organic vegetable. This is how I've been raised up, you know. And and that moment when I was in the jungle, I'm like, now I have money, I go to the jungle and I look around, there's nobody around. And then finally I managed to find one hut and the auntie is there. So I asked the auntie, where can I buy vegetable? So the auntie just looked at me like with the two eyes, like, what are you asking? You know, like, because luckily I know how to speak Thai that time. If not, I will be like starving, maybe. And
Yeah.
but Pop is okay because Pop is used to like that kind of lifestyle. So and the auntie just like shake her head and then like laughing, you know. So I feel very embarrassed that time. So auntie said, no, no, no. She just bring my hand. I just remember so clearly. So bring me to her backyard. It's just very small, simple hut. And bring me to her backyard, open the door, and the moment she opened the door, my eyes just like wow, like what is this? Because the first thing that I saw is the whole pomelo plant, full of pomelo, my favorite fruit. It's hanging on the tree like 20 to 30 pomelo. So it's like, and then I look around, it's everything is food. So auntie just bring me around. I remember goat around, cow walking around, ducks walking around. It's totally a living grocery store at the backyard of a house, like a small simple hut. So like, so auntie just teach me a lot of stuff like this is for medicinal. I will just ask, you know, I'm like silly, like what is this? What is that? What is this? And then auntie just this is for your medicinal when you have diabetic, and this is for whatever. So it's like I'm impressed, and I'm very happy that I managed to visit her living grocery, I can say. And then later, when she passed me some duck eggs and chicken eggs, some veggie, because she knows that I'm starving. So and then she walked to my place and teach me how to recognize the plant. And yeah, we got some water in the jungle from bamboo. Okay, so we cut the bamboo, we cover the bamboo, and another morning we got really fresh water. Okay, really good water, sweet and really good. So that is how I realized that no matter how smart are you, like you have what certificate, like maybe PhD or in what, and you have a lot of money, when the moment that you live in a jungle with nothing, then you know how empty we are in surviving skill, and in all we lost all this knowledge. It's not that we don't have it, but it's like we lost all this basic knowledge. So that is the biggest thing that I got from that experience in the jungle. And yeah, and I come back to Malaysia, look all around, it's still houses and city, no more jungle, and I suffer from this comparison thinking of which is good and which is bad. We're like, wow, city people are very bad, they throw rubbish everywhere, yeah, the developer very bad. So this is actually a big suffering. Okay, when you talk about like like you want to help the world to get a better world, first thing is to not compare, not judge, and not criticize. Because when you suffer and you start to judge and criticize a lot of stuff, your intentionally is to make the other people wrong and you are right. So that is not something that you want to. With that kind of energy, you won't be able to create something. Nature is all harmony. Yeah, it's peace, still, and harmony energy that is there. So this is another big thing that I realized when I come back to Penang. That you will have this comparison mind for sure. When you visit some place, wow, so nice, and you come back to your own home, everyone throw rubbish everywhere. You feel like, wow, why am I here? Why do I want to come back to Malaysia? I should just stay in the jungle forever. So yeah, that is how I was. I was. And then later, after like 6 months, then I say, instead of complaining, judging, criticizing, why not just make things happen? Like just do something about it, that you like, you want, and you would like to share. So this is how we started our place, with an intention that it is possible to have your own haven everywhere. No matter where you are, no matter you are living in a condominium or you are able to create that with a clear intention and with a good energy within you, not out the environment outside of us is not not a way, not the one. You are the change, that you can actually come from within. If you want to see what you want to see, you create it. Yeah. So that's why that's I think the second lesson is like to look inwards and to be able to be clear that what do you want to see, how do you want to live yourself, and how do you want to breathe, yeah, how do you want to feel, yeah. And that is a few questions that if you are able to answer, then you are able to create it.
Wow, wow.
So I
I mean,
guess, yeah.
it's so profound, so meaningful, and I actually I absolutely love it. That the fact that you have to be the change that you want to see. And you're
Yeah,
in many ways you're living proactively. You're not living reactively. You're finding that
yeah.
conviction from within, right? And I think that's so powerful. Um, Mindfulness, the question of mind the well the question of mindfulness and healing, they seem to be very common themes in your work. Can you
Yes,
tell us a bit about it
yeah,
and how
sure.
you try
Yeah,
to integrate it into your work?
yeah. So this is a very meaningful story that I would like to share. Is yeah, and also quite personal, but now it's no longer personal. When the moment that how do I started is because I have a serious depression. It's almost fourth state depression. That there is a huge suffering inside me. Yeah, And you know, the world like no hope, the world like negativity. I believe that a lot of people can feel that too, you know, like especially in COVID period of time. And that will happen to me, I think 10 years back, maybe. So it's I have some story, and then it happens to me, and then the moment that I look forward for alternative healing rather than taking medicinal, this is the moment where I step into Thailand to learn a lot of stuff. So I managed to graduate in a field. I want to really learn more about who am I, you know, what is the purpose of living in this world. So that is the period of time when I seeking for the meaning, or we call so-called meaning of life.
Yeah.
So that's why. And yeah, I take a lot of courses, alternative healing, energy healing, you know. I almost have all the cert that you can imagine in healing path, because I want to try to help myself. You know, if I am not able to help myself, who can help me? So then I really use 5 years. That is the reason why 5 years I was in Thailand. And when I graduate all in, like, you know, as I said, like, you can be a master therapeutic, I'm a master therapeutic coaching in hypnotherapy and all this therapy. But then I go to this jungle. So, and that all certificate is nothing at all that time. So this is a good time for me, that when you get everything, you think you are okay, but then when you go to another world, that your cert means nothing. So that's the point where it's sort of my turning point, and it's sort of a gift for me, that to make me realize that you are basically nothing, you know, like nothing big, you know, and you start from zero. So until today we are still beginner actually. So that's why I'm so interested in healing path. And the real healing come from, I think, the nature and the mindfulness towards ourselves, our thinking, our feeling. Like what I said, how do you feel, what do you want? It's not what the world want, what your parents want, what your friends want you to be, and how people look at you. It doesn't really matter so much at all, you know. And what do you really want? So that's the main thing. Until today, I still ask myself, what do I really want when I come to this land? What do I really want? You know, yeah. How do you want to feel? You know, and what do you want to see if 5 years from today? So, and this is the question that constantly I ask myself. So my parents are really against in the first 3 years, like against, totally like, no, you're not gonna be a farmer. You on the hot sun, you have this cert, you can be a therapist, you know, and coach or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I never I never do that. So
What
that's
would
why a lot of people give you a lot of idea on how you should be, you know, what is your journey. So but mindfulness towards is like mindfulness towards your daily life, your own thinking, your own living, yeah, is very important. And the nature is the answer for your healing, your path of healing, you know. So I think that's why you can see when we call it, we don't call it like what kind of farming. You just do mindfulness farming. You're mindful with that piece of land. You're mindful with the what is happening around you. You're mindful that what is your own capability,
Yeah.
and do accordingly. Not like accordingly what people say this is good, you know, permaculture, this is good, biodynamic is good, you know, don't it's not, it doesn't matter, you know, it's like what is the environment need, you know, and what can you do that period of time. If you can't, don't do it first, one step at a time. Yeah,
Mm.
that's why we call mindfulness farming.
Yeah. And again, it's such an important point, because I think a lot of people, they know the benefits, to growing their own food. They know the benefits of gardening, having a own green space. But I think a lot of people stop short of doing it because they have a picture in their mind. If I
Yeah.
start, I need this, that. I need this knowledge, and I need everything to be ready. I need to have
Yeah.
a list of things before I can start. And I think
Yeah.
which leads us to our next point. Can you address some of the misconceptions that people have when it comes to growing their own food? What would you say are
uh,
the main obstacles in people's minds?
I think for
And
my
how
own
can
experience, yeah,
Mhm.
from my own experience is we have been organized a lot of grow your own food workshops and also composting workshops. Since day one until today, we only have these two workshops because we don't think it's necessary to have advanced or intermediate, it's all basic. When you go to nature, it's all basic. There's nothing complicated in the nature, to be honest, nothing complicated. And why all basic? Good soil is the answer. Good soil, you can grow almost anything. Yeah, so that's how Thailand started. That's why Pop thinking like soil, seed, done. Right? So a misconception is always people think too complicated, and they think like I have to have a certain way, certain criteria, like what you said, I have to have this. But start with composting is quite important, because our soil condition, it depends on your soil condition. You might have, like our new piece of land, they have a marine clay soil. So our city soil is like a yellow clay soil. It's totally different soil, but the same thing, the same component is you use regenerate your soil first, and then when you have a good soil, you are able to grow almost anything. Yeah, so I think a misconception is you have to, and in the market, of course, the educational is always like, this is for the fruit, this is for the herbs, this is all for the veggie. So it's like, seems like complicated. Every plant need different thing, seems like that, and they don't dare to start anything. Yeah. And a lot of people thinking like to be beautiful, like like beautiful, clean, like a photo, like a video, like wow, very beautiful, is something like palm. But in reality, what do you want? Like what do you want? At the end of the day, is what do you want? Is your place wanted to be a tourist spot, or like your place wanted to be educational, or your place just want to grow your own food and for your own consumption? And I don't want, like, for us it's like own consumption, biodiversity, and for our, like, we don't really want to work too hard. I don't want to work like uh, weeding the grass for 3 hours a day, and then and do stuff. We want to live. We want to have a lifestyle. We want to do something more meaningful than just take care of the garden, and we will become a labor of our garden then. So it's not meant to be too, So so that's why, what do you want at the end of the day? And after you really know what you want, then only you start to have a little bit planning. I mean, like very minimum planning, like compost thing zone is a necessary thing, and also which plot you want to start. So start from a small plot instead of a big plot. Yeah, small plot, one plot at a time. That is how we started with a 1 meter and 1 meter square. 1 times 1, and then later another 1 times 1, and later another 1 times 1. Yeah, then you got 100 times 100. So
Yeah. So it's starting with what you have, right? And not getting stuck in that analysis paralysis, as some people call it. You just start with what you have, do what you know how to do, and then as you go along, you build on it, right?
yeah,
And,
don't Google too much.
Yes. Yeah, that's a practical tip.
Don't Google too much, it's true.
Yeah, and actually that kind of leads to the next question as well. Like, do you have a few practical tips that you can share with the audience on how they can start growing their own food at home? Maybe just three powerful practical tips.
Yeah, okay. So I'm a lazy person, as I can say, lazy in terms of want to be effective, get a lot of stuff, but very, very minimum job, So what I will start with like things is like they don't need care, they don't need too much care, and they can continuously giving me the harvest. I don't want to replant and replant and replant, So so this is something that I will encourage. Is something like when people start to stop planting when they feel too tired, too much work, and they will feel like not confident, and I don't have green finger. This is what people keep telling me. I don't have green finger, I cannot plant, This is not true at all, So because you choose a very hard crops, like cherry, tomato, this is not a good start, So I would rather that first thing, because and later you find out like you spend too much money to buy soil. So this is not something you want to. So that's why compost is quite important. You can first, if you are in your home, you can use your household waste, okay, to do compost. Okay, so I will choose maybe bokashi compost, or maybe you have a small piece of a very small space, then you can do this we choose multi-layer compost. This is from Major University in Thailand. They do a lot of composting studies, and they compare which composting method is sustainable. Okay, we don't call like effective highest like you highest N, highest P, higher K. We don't look at that. It's like sustainable means like really little effort, but you can keep on doing. So then they found out is this multi-layer structure. So we have been doing multi-layer structure compost since day one until today. Yeah, and then we have been teaching people how to do this multi-layer compost correctly. Okay, if not, you won't get your compost decompose within 2 months. You know, like very very good high quality compost. So and we regenerate soil with compost. So what is the material that needed? Is all this. See? Dry leaves, that people throw beside, all this stuff, and you can turn to the very fertile fertilizer. So with all this, you have free resources, especially roadside. We always collect from the roadside. So collect all this, turn it to compost, and use the compost to regenerate whichever type of soil you have, and guarantee success, no fail. Okay, no fail. Okay, and then regenerate soil and then start to plant. So don't need to do too complicated stuff. That's it. And then the toughest part is actually remember to water, right? A lot of people don't have the habit to water their plant, so that's how they fail. They don't fail because of their skill or method. They fail because they forget to water the plant at the beginning. So another thing is plant those like cucuk money is very easy to plant. You poke in, they grow, no tough plant. Yeah, and then you plant some herbs like lemongrass, pandan, like some easy grass, and some like ginseng, jawa, all this vegetable that you can grow, wild vegetable that you can grow without any care. Even you don't take care of them, don't forget to water for 3 days, they are still there. When you water, they survive again. Yeah, those plants that I will encourage you to start planting is super healthy, and then you can sort of have your crops after you planting, and then plant something that you want to use, like sweet basil. That will be good. You can continue harvest for a period of time, and some herbs like peppermint for tea, some veggie for food, and some medicinal herbs for health. Okay, that's it, enough. Or you want to plant tree like moringa, is a good choices because it's a superfood. You can use as a veggie, you can use as herbs, you can use as medicinal purpose. So plant something which is they are tough plant. So in our farm we have a lot of different kind of tough plant, drought resistant, flood resistant. So we plant all this to prepare for the climate impact in the coming a few years. This will be a very serious problem that a lot of people don't really think that is serious. Within 5 years, we will have a serious impact. Yeah, so we are preparing the piece of land for that. It's a mitigation land, adaptation, and also for to be a resilient space. Yeah. Okay, hopefully, it's a few tips for you.
Yeah, and just a quick roundup for everyone. But I think later, Chi, let me know if I missed anything out. The first thing is just to keep it simple. Go with hardy plants. Don't overwhelm yourself with information from Google and all that. Just start with the basic fundamentals and just do it first. And also, choose hardy ones. Did I miss anything else?
I don't think so. Yeah. Okay. Compost. Remember to do your own
compost. Yeah.
Yes.
And water your plants, right? Don't forget to nourish the soil.
Yeah. Sunlight. Okay, so sorry I missed out. Like sunlight, yes, it's necessary for certain plants to have full sun. But the few plants that I mentioned just now, they don't really care so much about the sun. But if you want to have a good yield, like good production, then you have to have at least some sun.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay. Okay. We're seeing some questions come in, which
question.
we will address a bit later. So let's
Yeah.
just move on to the final point, right? If you can leave
Okay.
the audience with one message, Chi, like one takeaway from this conversation, what would you want it to be?
I think yeah, this is a tough question. Too many things I want to give. Okay, so maybe one thing is to just start, like with any resources that you have now. Okay, today if you eat the banana peel can turn to enzyme, and the enzyme is good for a flower, is good for fruiting. So actually be mindful, be mindful with your everyday life. Is the answer is always around you already. Even you drink a sip of water, okay, just be mindful like how grateful we are now today. And when you eat a banana, you think, this is a source of the peel is a source of nutrients for the soil. When you eat an apple, yeah, this one I can compose it, the seeds and whatever. So actually, we every moment we have a chance. Be mindful with how do you live your daily life? How do you travel? How do you eat? How do you drink? How do you shower? Do you use like you use too much of water? Or how do you breathe? How do you breathe is important, because how do you breathe? Can you really breathe? This is something that you should ask yourself. And is the air clean? If you want the air to be clean, what should you do? Right? If you don't like the industrial area, what should you do? So yeah, I think moment to moment, just be mindful. Like everyday life, and every moment is a chance for you to make a difference. Yeah, I think that's enough.
Yeah, that really sums it up. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and it's
Um,
not too hard, right? When you talk about personal stuff.
yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
yeah,
Just
it's possible.
yeah, and it's just like you said earlier. It's just taking one step at a time. You just take
Yeah.
that one step first. Don't overwhelm yourself. Don't look too far
Yes.
ahead. Identify
Yes.
what is important to you. Why do you want to do this? Why do you want to grow your own food? You have to find that conviction within you, and then you just start simple, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, thank you so much for such great sharing. It's only been 30 minutes, but I feel like we can talk for an hour. But unfortunately we don't have that amount of time. But let's get to the two questions that we have Ida who asked, what
Okay.
is topsoil? And yeah, can you just briefly explain what is topsoil to Ida?
Okay. Yeah. Topsoil is the first question when I come back to Malaysia. So what is topsoil? Okay. Actually, topsoil should be the top part of the soil, which is referred to a very fertile soil. Let me look around. Okay. Here. Okay. So yeah, Ida, if you can see this, the grass, and yeah, this is the top part of the soil. Supposingly, to be able to grow a fertile, produce like vegetable, it should be. This is a marine clay soil. You can see. You know when you touch the soil texture. So this is something tough, hard for roots to grow. To penetrate it. So you have to treat the soil before you can grow anything. But for weeds is actually a hardy weed. So no problem for them to grow anywhere. So the thing is, this is not, this part of soil is so-called marine clay soil. So if we refer to a quality topsoil that you can grow vegetable is another part. I can't show you anything now, but you see this is the main topsoil that you get from residential area. It's a yellow clay soil, you can see?
Yeah.
Yeah, clearly, right? Yeah. So imagine this is our so-called topsoil. That is almost impossible. You can grow quality stuff. So that's why farmers have to do this stuff. Raise the bed, and then fill up some soil. So this farmer using a different technique. So they in their hole, they do a good quality soil in this hole, and then they plant. So this is, you can minimize the effort, to to actually, you know, treat the whole plot of soil first. Okay, so the real topsoil is you go to under a tree, you pluck it out, and then that very fine, when you touch, it's like loomy soil, like loomy type. It's not hard and black and like black, brown, dark brown color. That is a good quality topsoil. But in Malaysia, you can find it's all yellow, yellow, like they will send you this topsoil. Yeah, they will send you this. Yeah, and you go to buy, you can try. Now you go to any nursery, you just say I want topsoil, they will show you this is the topsoil. So it's true that Malaysia topsoil is all this now. So okay, I hope we can answer your question. But to get your own quality topsoil, use compost to regenerate the top layer part of the soil. Then you can have a good quality topsoil. Yeah.
It's in your hands, everyone. You can do this yourself. Okay.
Yeah.
You don't
We use
go and buy it.
yeah, we use 3 to 6 month times to regenerate the piece of land. First start with 1 times 1 or 2 times 2. Yeah? That's the point. I regenerate 2 times 2 times 2 first, then I regenerate the rest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Chi.
Yeah.
There's a question from Ao Yang, and he's asking, is there any way we can contact the both of you? I think I can address this one. The good thing about, well, this session is actually building up to another workshop. Pop and Chi will actually be in the gardens next weekend to run a workshop. And I will share the link right now in the chat. And don't worry, because this talk will also be put on Facebook. So do follow us on Facebook, and we will be tagging Pop and Chee, so you can contact them directly. They are very active on social media. They are very good at sharing their story. So please follow them on Facebook as well. I believe it's Pop and Chee Healthy Home
Farming. Yeah.
Correct. So if you can't find them on Facebook, don't worry. Just drop by TSG's page, and we will be tagging them in the summary of this conversation. Yeah. Okay, we have a question. Is there anyone else who would like to share something or put up a question for Chi before we end this conversation?
Yeah.
That's one moment. We have Anna.
Introduce. Hi, I'm Anna.
Hi, Anna.
Hi. Can I show you something?
Oh, wow.
This is
Wonderful.
3.2 kilos plucked 2 days ago from our tree.
Yeah.
I do composting, and I put a lot, and this is the result. I had at one point 35 papayas on the tree.
Ooh, 35 papayas.
We still have 25 on it. We've taken down 10. If anyone wants. And unfortunately, 2 were eaten by squirrel 2 days ago.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. When we talk about nature, 7 to 3, they can have 30% of what you have, and you have the 70%.
Of course, yeah. I'm not jealous that they took it. They can go and plant it somewhere else, right?
Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing, Anna, Lisa.
Yeah, a real good example. 35 papaya on the tree.
Okay, we have another question here from Ouyang. Is there any need for tiling for a new soil?
Tilling, right? Till the soil, right? Yeah. Okay, so for new hard soil, like clay soil or this like so-called yellow clay topsoil, you need to till at the beginning. It's not like you encourage no till, like all this. Yes, but it's after when you have a fertile soil. People always have this misconception that they want to implement no till method. But no till method is when your soil is actually more fertile and they have the network, then you don't have a network underneath. So the tilling is needed for your first, you lay a layer of, first you sort of till a little bit, then you layer a layer of compost on the top, and then you sort of mix it up, what you till and the compost together, then only you plant. That it will get you to the best method. Like what Jonathan said, our upcoming workshop is for really very new beginners that they want to start something but they don't really know where to start. You can start with only a pot, like on your hand, and you can harvest within 10 days, So this is to encourage you to start something, and you can harvest and put it in your food, and you can have all the nutrients that is necessary. You know, you can grow a lot of few different microgreens together, and then you harvest it, and then you mix it up in your food. So this will be on the 22nd January, right? 22nd January.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
in Tropical Spice Garden. Yeah.
yeah. So I've shared the link with everyone. It's in the chat.
Yeah.
It's a microgreens workshop. And of course, this is a great opportunity for you to, meet Pop and Chee, to hear their stories, and they will have a lot of tips. We are talking about years and years of experience and experience of doing it themselves. I think Chee, you learn a lot of things yourself, right? And a lot of the learning is only by doing. You can read all you want, but when you're actually doing it yourself, the learning is on a different level, right?
Yes, true.
Yeah.
Actually,
So,
I learn through action, and then I go to participate some workshop. I'm like, okay, I already doing it, and okay, it's okay, but I already participate in the workshop. Then I do again, and I participate another workshop, and I'm like, this is like more like theory, not so practical, you know. So then you found out that actually a lot of theory, but it's not able to implement on your own land, you know, and your own balcony, you know, or your own pot, you know. It's you have to really know what you want, you know.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that sums up today's session. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Chi, for sharing your story. I mean, I'm truly inspired, and I think everyone here as well. They will be leaving with inspiration, some practical tips, and everyone also, thank you so much for joining us, everyone. Please stay in touch. We will be posting this conversation on Facebook, so you can share it with your friends and your family if you want to. And I've also shared the link to the workshop here. Spots are limited, so do join us. If you want to join us, book your tickets quickly, yeah, because this is limited and we will be following all the SOPs. So, Chi, is there anything else you would like to add before we end this call?
Yeah, I think that's enough. I think just start, do something, and you know, and you won't know. This is when I started 5.5 years back, and I do not know that this will leading us to a really new piece of land, you know, like today. I
Yeah.
consider it as quite fast. So, you know, if you start today, you won't know what happened tomorrow, you know, 2 years later.
Yeah.
And something that I really want to address at last is you know, this climate change is like a whole farmer, like our farmer friends know what is already impacting our food source, you know. So growing of food become a necessary for you at home, you know, like necessary is essential. In 3 years time, and I think it will be like sort of a food war already. Yeah, like you have to fight for food, you know. So it's better for you to start today. Now, if you like fruits, you know, you grow some fruits that you can harvest after 3 years, 4 years, or 5 years, you know. Grow some soursop, grow some rorini, grow some longan, you know. Grow whatever you like today, and you won't out of stock when times come, you know. And yeah, I hope that people will be more concerned on the climate impact upcoming. Do something now, you know. If not, you won't feel regret in the future. Yeah, that's it. I think some important message that I feel need to take away.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Chi. Okay, everyone. We have reached the end of the call, but before we go, we're going to take a group photo. So if you're comfortable, please turn on your webcam. But if not, don't worry about it. We'll just take a screenshot now. Yeah. Okay. And 3, 2, 1. Okay. Perfect. And yeah, that's the end of our session. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, Chi, for being with us and sharing your story. Have a great weekend. Stay in touch, and we will see you on social media or at the workshop next week. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Tropical Spice
You're
Garden, for having
welcome.
us here.
See you all.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you.
Have a great day. Bye.
Great day. Bye.